Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining. My name is Scott Dwyer. I am a solution engineer in the AI business process portion of Microsoft, and one of your hosts, along with my colleague Randall Ikema of the Power Platform Healthcare User Group, or PowerHug. We are here roughly the fourth Thursday of every month. This is a community for admins, makers, users, and our goal really is to help all of you learn from one another, and when possible, hear directly from actual users and customers of the platform rather than from Microsoft, although we do fill in some sessions here and there, including next month's. We always need presenters, so if you're ever interested, I encourage you to reach out and get in touch with Randall, myself, your AI business process specialist. There's a lot of roads ultimately to us. Could be stories of governance, could be a specific use case you want to highlight, how you manage your citizen developers, strategy alignment, lessons learned, all topics welcome. We do post our events onto YouTube at Power Platform Hug after the fact. We also have a LinkedIn group. So if you ever have questions or just want to engage with the community, we encourage you to join from that AKAMS link or the QR code provided. And we have a survey as well. So if there's anything you want to hear about from Microsoft or topics that you think would be of particular interest that we can go looking for, we always love to hear from you. I'll hand it over to Randall to talk about some upcoming events before we introduce this month's presenter.
All right, thanks, Scott. I'll just also say today during the presentation, if you want to drop your questions into the chat or the Q&A, we'll monitor that and answer those questions best we can. Otherwise, we'll reserve them for the presenters so they can answer at the end. As far as upcoming events, we've got obviously next month our Power Hug event at the end of May. We're actually going to bring in one of our GBBs from Power Platform, Amber Weiss, where she's going to talk about reimagining the automation spectrum with agentic AI. And she's going to talk about how AI impacts automation across the board and what are the tooling options that you can use in Power Platform to enable agentic automation in your enterprise. Next there, Scott. And then I think next week already, we have another group of Microsoft individuals who are coming and presenting inside the Master Series, so aka.ms/Master Series, where they're going to talk about using some agentic apps and vibe coding to help create applications within Power Platform. So another great session on how you can create apps, intelligent applications using Power Platform. And then, as always, we have the AI Apps and Agents Tour, although we're coming to a close quickly here. I actually got to attend one last week. It was a great event, quite an eye-opening event in terms of new features and releases that are coming to Copilot Studio and AI apps across the board. So these are the ones in the general area inside of North America, April 28th, 30th, May 12th, and the 14th. Feel free to visit aka.ms/AI Apps Tour and pick the one that's nearest you and attend. It's a great event to attend in person if you can. And then we have some Copilot Acceleration Team webinars that are ongoing, usually I think every Thursday or Wednesday, I can't remember which. But we have a few coming up next week. So the 28th and 29th, all around Agent 365 and Agents in Action, extending M365 Copilot, as well as some happening in May around adoption of agents and so forth. So a lot of great materials here. It is from the Copilot Acceleration Team, so there's a lot of agent discussions here around creating agents, securing agents, various patterns, how you connect agents together, that sort of thing. So keep an eye on those. Those are always great to drop in, and those recordings are generally available after if you need them as well. You can visit aka.ms/AI webinars for that. And so with that, we're going to jump into our presentation. We have a great crew here from CHOP. We're going to talk about how Power Platform enables efficient research, subject recruitment, and analysis at CHOP. And with that, we have Heather and Julia and our boss to take it away. Feel free, guys.
Absolutely. So I will just share my screen so you can see the slides. Actually, hold on, let me make sure I share with sound. Okay, here we go. Hi, so thank you so much. My name is Heather Catherall. I am the Director of Clinical Trial Administration at CHOP. Today, we're going to go over a brief overview of the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia and the Recruitment Enhancement Core. We're going to give some background on choosing Microsoft Power Platform, and then we're going to go through different user groups. We'll talk about user-friendly engagement and how this automation has helped with the participant perspective. We're going to talk about creating a front office product and how the study team or the research team at CHOP can use this. And then we're also going to talk about enhancing data visibility and transparency, the study team perspective. Then we'll wrap up with some of the benefits of doing this automation as well as next steps. So just a brief overview of CHOP. CHOP was founded in 1855 and is the nation's oldest hospital dedicated solely to the care of children. We are a world leader in pediatric research and have been ranked Best Children's Hospital by U.S. News and World Report annually since the list was created in 2007. At CHOP, research is really important to us. It helps us to advance medical and science for the community. We have over 200 clinical divisions, programs, and services for children, and research is conducted in over 60 divisions. We currently have over 2,000 open clinical research studies. Our role at CHOP is with the Recruitment Enhancement Core, and we are a centralized office in CHOP's Research Institute that helps CHOP investigators to meet study recruitment goals by providing recruitment support to reduce workload on study teams. We provide recruitment support across lots of different mediums, including developing recruitment plans, internal advertisements, flyers, website advertisements, social media advertising, tabling, and more. But our most utilized recruitment resource is sending emails. Approximately 1 million recruitment emails are sent to potential subjects annually across 70 to 120 research studies. Our old process fully utilized Excel and Outlook, which was very effective in finding potential participants, but was also both incredibly time-consuming and resource-intensive. We realized that there were some opportunities for efficiency. So our old process used Excel-generated lists that were from my electronic health records, as well as lists that the study team may have or opt-in lists to email participants. Each single email was manually created in small batches from IRB-approved materials. And while we were very careful during this process, there was always a possibility of human error. For each email we created, we had to ensure that we uploaded the right email letter for the study, the right title, and that participants were blind copied in order to protect identifiable data. Excel lists were also tracked, so every time we sent an email blast, we had to track in our Excel list exactly who was contacted and when and how often. And we updated these Excel lists for each of our studies. Again, it's about 100 active lists monthly because people's medical history may change, they may have opted out, or they may no longer be eligible to participate in a study. So as you can imagine, that was a lot of manual work. Additionally, if you send out 1 million emails per year, you get quite a few responses back. So every response back from a family had to be manually tracked and sorted. They also did not link to patient demographic information. So while most families would respond back to the email we sent them, we would absolutely get replies that said, hey, I'm interested in the research study. And then we'd have to figure out manually which study they were interested in. When we forwarded interested families to study teams, the families also only got the email. So it could say, Tom Smith as a parent was interested in the study, but it didn't provide any demographic or medical information on their child. We realized that there was opportunities for efficiency. So despite managing this huge volume of recruitment across studies, we are a very small team with the equivalent of 2.4 full-time employees. In addition to sending out emails, many teams have needs of knowing how recruitment is going and what the demographic breakdowns are of people who respond. In order to facilitate those responses, we basically had to manually look at all of the email blasts that we'd sent, as well as the emails that came in. So there were delays in getting this information back to investigators, and it also was an incredibly time-consuming process. Additionally, any family who opted out and did not want to have future recruitment emails, those all had to be processed manually. So if a family opted out, we had to look through all of our active recruitment lists to remove their email address, and it was also open to human error. Each study has a unique recruitment list, study-specific exclusions, as well as contact limits. So existing out-of-the-box systems would not work. So for example, when we think about a lot of the email tools that are out there, many of them are made for businesses where you have a set, list of people who want to receive your emails, and you're sending them all the emails. What we do and our position is kind of the opposite. So we're trying not to email the same families as much as possible, and we're trying to always identify different families. So we couldn't find a system that would work for us. Luckily for us, CHOP was leveraging intelligent automation tools to deploy software robots for rule-based tasks so staff can focus on more value-added work. We were really lucky to work with the CHOP Automation Center of Excellence and Automation Service Partners Latitude, both of whom were absolutely amazing to work with, to automate the team's clinical study recruitment email communications process. The goals of this recruitment were to automate recruitment email generation, delivery, and engagement tracking to reduce manual workload and errors. In doing this, we found that it also provided a lot of additional benefits. In addition to improving operational efficiency and outreach, it also enabled teams to send more frequent, smaller batch emails. So, for example, if a study team wanted to send 50 emails 4 days a week, in the manual process, this was 4 times the work of sending one batch of 200 emails. So because of our small team volume, we were only able to send 1 email a week for study teams. In this new automation, if we wanted to send 10 emails a day every day of the week, it is the same workload. So it really enabled us to create a better approach for study teams in order to allow the email frequency that they were hoping for. It also maintained continuity during staff absences, holidays, and allowed us to scale support across more studies enterprise-wide. So as you can imagine, during busy times of year or holidays, if somebody was off and then somebody else got sick, it really kind of hurt our email recruitment. This allows the recruitment to continue to flow seamlessly even when staff are out of the office. It improved the user experience for the rec staff, study teams, patient, and families, and it also enhanced data capture and metrics, which informed future recruitment efforts and was just not possible with the old manual system. So now I will turn it over to our boss to talk a little bit about automation planning.
Hello, thank you, Heather. Thank you for the kind words for Latitude, and I'm thrilled that you enjoyed partnering with us. Hello, everyone. My name is Arbaz. I was part of the implementation team that worked on this use case. We decided to take a first stab at this automation using Power Platform, specifically Power Automate. We decided to ingest input data from the rec team using Excel spreadsheets, email template using a Word document. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Sorry, Heather, could you cover
Yep,
this one? I have
absolutely.
emergency. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So REC developed standard Excel forms with fields which were important for subject recruitment and data analysis. These fields are fully customized to meet site needs. So what we did is we looked at the information that we wanted to be able to track across studies, the information that would help us to better identify subjects, and we pulled this data into standardized Excel forms, and then we used these forms to create fields when we automated, which we will show in some of our demos. We also had the ability to establish custom email rules. So at CHOP, we limited emails to 3 contacts per study per family, and we spaced out contacts at least 30 days apart. And what's wonderful is that the automation does this seamlessly instead of us having to manually track this in Excel as we used to. We also want to remember spam filtering. So even though the bot can send out huge batches of emails, we, as a practice, would limit it to smaller batches under 500 to prevent spam filtering by participants' email boxes. So all of the emails that are sent out as blind copies to participants. Arbaz, do you want me just to continue? Okay, I will plan to continue.
Sorry,
Are you good?
Yeah. Sorry
Okay.
about that.
No, all
yeah.
good.
So we started with a basic RPA bot, just sending recruitment emails with a Microsoft form, track responses, opt-ins, opt-outs, and all other metrics. We used OneDrive as the communications bridge between the reg team and the RPA bot. And this itself proved to be a successful implementation with the REC team, experiencing all the benefits here. Heather, are there any specific benefits here that you want to highlight out of the ones that are listed here?
I mean, I think the things that were highlights for us is that it reduced the risk of errors. So even though we were, always super careful, there's just an inherent risk of errors when you're doing things manually. It also allowed us to better prioritize who was getting the emails because it automatically would filter based on people who hadn't been contacted before. Some of the things that we loved were being able to connect the responses from participants to their Epic profile, which linked both their demographic information and their patient information, their medical records answered 2 responses that they put into the Microsoft form, which we'll talk about later, and allowed us again to be able to increase employee engagement. So our staff have really enjoyed working with this automation system and are now able to focus their efforts on tasks that require more of their expertise than the sending out of email blasts.
Thank you, Heather. We can move to the next one. Yeah. So even though phase one could be categorized as a great success, we did identify areas of enhancement. First of all, we wanted to kind of get away from the OneDrive as a bridge of communication. We wanted to give the REC team the ability to communicate with the automation using an application. We also wanted to create a dashboard that would allow to track metrics for each study, as well as increase language diversity, support Spanish as well as English studies, incorporate specific specialized projects that are REDCap based, and create a study team dashboard for directly the study teams, which are the study teams are essentially clients, and correct me if I'm wrong, Heather, but they're essentially the folks at CHOP for which you recruit. And again, capture the additional metrics that are related to the demographic information and other key pieces that were not originally tracked as part of phase one. So as part of phase two, we developed 2 items. The first is the Power App, and the second was a Power BI report. So essentially, every feature that we discussed on the last slide was implemented as part of these 2 solutions. I think anything else that we want to add here, Heather?
No, I mean, I think this summarizes it. So again, it's user friendly. Some of the additional features were stop-start dates. So in phase one, we could automate things to send like every Monday, for example, but phase two allowed us more precision. So we could start a study, for example, on May 15th. We could upload it, get all the data done, and then the bot would automatically run it when it hit the start date. We also increased study type flexibility. So it allowed us to have different templates with different logos and different pre-populated areas based on the type of emails that we were sending. And the rec team dashboard views were also really helpful because they allow us to see in real time, as we'll show you in the demos, like which studies were running, which were active, how far were we on the recruitment to date versus how many people were on the list. So it added a lot of just at a glance functionality, which really made our process much more efficient.
The reason we chose Microsoft Power Platform was pretty simple. We wanted a deep integration with the Microsoft ecosystem. We wanted a solution that we could deploy pretty quickly and ensure that there's low code just for ease of implementation. We wanted to have near real-time reporting with Power BI, which was easily doable through Microsoft Dataverse, which is the backbone of almost every Power Platform implementation. We wanted to have minimal IT overhead so that, and Heather, you can speak to this a little bit more about how you can manage users within the Power App and within the Power BI workspace. I guess the only item that you would require IT dependence on would be licensing for new users that are being onboarded. But apart from that, most of the configurations around the application were self-serve and were designed in that fashion. And the biggest item was cost. The same solution could be used for 10 to 500 studies. Anything else that you want to add here, Heather?
It's great. I think our volume continues to expand, so we love this solution because again, we could incrementally increase it as we get more studies. It allowed for all study team members to be able to access the system. So it was a sustainable model for CHOP, which I think is important when we were considering models to automate. Now I'll go in a little bit detail into the family bot perspective. So from a family perspective, they will receive an email similar to what they would have received in the past. Each email is customized specifically to a project, which helps to, again, reduce any risk of error. Emails are generated from a template that has changeable text, but they contain consistent features such as headers, logos, and buttons, which are customized by CHOP. Having some of these pre-built customized features allows us a lot quicker process every time we need to add a study to the system, because all we need to do is worry about the text in the middle and everything else is automatically populated. It ensures the email is always sent for the right project, and the email includes easy buttons for families. They're given 2 buttons. One is to opt out, so if they don't want to participate either in that study or at all in research, and the other is to opt in. When we automate in version 2, it allows for different choices, so they can either opt in and go directly to a customized Microsoft form, or if the study, for example, may be a survey only, they can opt in and go directly to that CHOP REDCap survey and complete the study in one click. This is just a high-level example of what our emails look like. Again, the text is really user-friendly. Being able to also get data on the back end to see who's opting in, who's responding to different emails helps us to tweak our process to make sure that our emails are engaging to families. And then we link to Microsoft Forms, which enhances response tracking. So again, prior to automation, responses were collected as email responses. We would group responses by study, but we didn't really have the bandwidth to go through and connect those back to any kind of demographic data. Families also would have to, if they wanted to hear more about a study, they would have to open an email, send an email back to our team, tell us that they were interested. This now allows a one-click solution. The Microsoft Forms were wonderful because we were able to customize questions and link it back to information, as well as to gather new information that was important to us. So some of the pre-filled questions included IRB number and study name, which allows the bot to automatically match participant data back to the study that they were emailed about. We also were able to provide customized fields where our team created questions such as preferred contact information and a space for comments so that families could ask questions and provide qualitative feedback on their reasons for participating or declining. This feedback has been useful to answer family questions, identify barriers to research, adjust recruitment based on feedback, and connecting families with other projects that may be a better fit. So for example, we were doing a study on teens that needed driver's permits. When we were recruiting for that study, we noticed that several families put in that we'd love to participate, but our teen already has their driver's license. We were then able to contact those families as follow-up to help them to know that we also had studies for teens with driver's licenses. So it actually helped us to be able to connect families to other research studies that match their interests. Responses from Microsoft Forms feed automatically back into the dashboards and into an Excel opt-in sheet that gets emailed to the study contact each morning a new opt-in is generated. So we have a lot of different systems at CHOP. Using the system does not require the study team to have to use a dashboard. The dashboard is just an additional feature if they want real-time data. They are still emailed opt-in lists in real time, which is helpful for them to be able to smoothly facilitate recruitment for their studies. Families who complete the form are also automatically excluded from future bot emails for the study. This helps us to prevent over-contacting families who either have already agreed to participate or who have opted out for that study. Additionally, families who opt out universally are automatically excluded from all future recruitment emails from the bot, so no more manually checking 100+ lists, and they're also placed into a REDCap form that data managers at CHOP use to opt them out of additional recruitment. So in addition to what our office does, some study teams will still look in Epic and recruit families individually, but this allows communication to set a flag in Epic to not recruit those families. This is an example of what our Microsoft form looks like. Again, what you'll see is that there are choices where families can select to opt in to learn more, opt out from this study, or opt out universally from all research recruitment. They're able to provide multiple different contact information, which is really useful for study teams. In the past, we frequently only had email address and people may miss it. This allows multiple ways for a study team to reach out to a family that has expressed interest. It also allows families to ask comments or questions, which make our process of following up with families much more efficient. And then there are automated fields such as study name and IRB number, which helps the bot to identify where that family was recruited from. So for the Rec Bot perspective, I'm going to hand this over to Julia.
Thanks, Heather. So for this first demo, what we'd like to show you is the Power BI platform from the Rec dashboard perspective. So essentially how our team sees and uses this platform, especially to add a new study. And setting up the new study is accomplished through a 4-step wizard within the Power app. So this following video will demonstrate that.
This video will demonstrate a high-level view of the Power BI dashboard from a Rec perspective and show you how to create a new study. The Rec Power BI dashboard has a left navigation panel, which includes My Studies, where you can see an overview of all studies entered into the automation bot. This tab is where you can search for or make edits to studies. New Study, where you can create a new study to be added into the automation bot. There is a new study button under the My Studies tab as well, which brings you to this page. Reports, where you can see consolidated, contact, and response reports for all studies in the automation bot. This also includes visuals and graphs. Universal opt-out, where you can manage families opting out of all research recruitment. This includes a search bar and deleting capabilities. Lastly, study user management, where you can add internal or external users so they can be assigned to a study. To set up a new study, navigate to the New Study tab on the left. You will now go through a 4-step wizard. This includes study information, schedule, email content, and participant list. Under study information, enter the name of your study. Participants will be able to view this study name in the Microsoft form linked in the email they receive, so we need to ensure it is appropriate and clear for families. Next, enter the unique IRB number. This cannot be changed later. IRB numbers can never repeat in the system. Now select the study type. This can be research, non-research, or REDCap. These types were customized by us based on our mass emailing needs. The main difference between these types is the form linked and the default logo in the emails. We'll select research as this is our most common type. After this, we'll select the study team contacts for both receiving opt-in reports and for accessing the Power BI study team dashboard. Note that team members must be added under the User Management tab first in order to appear in these dropdowns. Both internal CHOP contacts and external non-CHOP contacts can be added to receive opt-in reports via email. Opt-in reports are Excel files with families who have opted in to learn more about this particular study. For the BI dashboard, only CHOP contacts can access this. The BI study team dashboard is explained in a separate video, but essentially, contacts added here will receive an automated email granting them access to a study team Power BI dashboard while they'll be able to see the consolidated and opt-in reports for the study. The last two items under study information are related to notifications. The opt-in target. This field refers to the number of opt-ins needed, typically the enrollment goal at the time of entry. Our team is notified when this number is reached. Oftentimes, there will be more opt-ins needed than the enrollment goal, since not everyone who opts in ends up enrolling due to eligibility or other situations. But setting this target helps to inform the study progress. For this, let's say we want to be notified when 10 families opt in. Lastly, the reminder threshold remaining patients. This field refers to the number of remaining patients in the participant list at which the bot sends our team a reminder. This helps to inform when our team needs to update the list as needed. Let's say the study will send 500 emails a week, and so I'll set the reminder threshold to 1,000, so we are notified when the study has reached the threshold of the last 1,000 emails, at which time we can go in to update the list as needed. This number can vary depending on when staff would like to get notified. Now let's move on to schedule. This step is to configure when and how often emails are sent. First, select a start date. Let's say we want to start these emails on Monday, April 27th. The end date defaults to 2 years out, which is okay. We'll leave that as is. Then, we typically set a recurring schedule, although the system allows for a one-time send. We will set these for once a week on Mondays. You can set the schedule in different ways depending on study needs. For example, it can be set for every 2 weeks or once a month. You can also set for multiple days per week, for example, every Monday and Wednesday. The last two fields refer to the email volume. Total number of contacts per run is the number of emails to send each time the automation bot runs, while the number of BCCs per email is the batch size. How many email addresses to include per each individual email being sent. Emails are sent with recipient email addresses in the BCC field to protect privacy. The max number of BCCs per email should be less than 500 to avoid spam filtering. In this case, we want to send 500 emails per week, so the number of contacts per run is 500. To avoid spam filtering, we will set the number of BCCs to 250. So every week on Monday, 2 emails with 250 email addresses each will be sent by the automation bot for this study. Continuing on to the next step, email content. This is where you'll create what the actual email will look like. Select whether the email is in English or Spanish. This will also determine the language of the Microsoft form that will be linked in the email. Let's select English. The subject line, email body, signatures, and disclaimers all have default language in them which can be edited. Let's say the subject line for this study is Participate from Home, Opportunity to Join a Remote Research Study at CHOP. Then enter your email body. Next, edit the signature. You can also upload any additional logos or flyers following a certain format. Please note that they may look different across browsers and devices. The email does include a default logo automatically, which was determined during the development phase. Let's leave the disclaimer the same, as that's our default English disclaimer, and this email will be sent in English. You can also send yourself a test email to see what the email will look like, and fix formatting and links as needed. Lastly, continue to participant lists. Here, you will upload the participant list and exclusions list. The participant list is the contact list, an Excel file with patient information and emails. These files follow a certain column format and order which was customized by us based on our needs. Click here to attach participant file. Navigate to your file and select Open. The exclusions list is an Excel file with a list of MRNs and/or email addresses you don't want the automation bot to contact. Click to attach exclusion file, navigate to your file, and select Open. This is a nice feature since you don't have to manually look for those emails in the participant list. The automation bot will automatically exclude those emails from contact. Note, the exclusion list is study specific. Contacts added here are not universally opted out of all studies. The participant and exclusion lists can be modified at any time. After you've uploaded these, completed and reviewed all 4 steps, go ahead and click Create and Activate. Click Yes to confirm you would like to create the study and wait for a green Study Saved Automation in Progress message in the top left. The study now appears in the My Studies page. The study status is paused since the start date is in the future. On the start date, the study status will automatically change to Run. While the study automation is in progress, the study cannot be edited. You will get a gray Automation is in Progress message if you try to edit. Our team will receive an email alert for confirming whether the entry was successful or if there are any issues that need to be fixed, such as incorrect columns or columns missing, for example. Once the email confirmation is received, the automation bot is all set to start sending emails for this study.
Thank you. Now that we've seen that perspective from the rec team, we're going to go through a couple more demos where we're going to look at the study team bot perspective. So this is a dashboard that our researchers see. Staff only have access to studies that they are assigned to. It also is able to provide the PHI, or identifiable information protection, that we used in the old system. So our office acts as an honest broker, which means that we're able to see identifiable information, but study teams only see identifiable information for people who opt in to learn more about the study. The customized dashboards allow different access for rec teams and study teams, so that study teams can only see de-identified data for individuals contacted and have full access just to those who opt in. The data updates are close to real time, with Microsoft Forms automatically updating hourly, weekdays from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. This is what we set up for our bot for our system, but it's customizable. There's also multiple options for viewing data as well as exporting data into Excel. The first of our 3 short demos are going to have to do with study team Power BI dashboards. We're going to look at the consolidated report home visuals.
This video will demonstrate the home view of the consolidated report. The Power BI dashboard interface has a left navigation panel, including Rec Study Team Consolidated Report with expandable sections, Home and Consolidated, and the Rec Opt-ins Response Report. The Consolidated Reports Home tab provides comprehensive visual de-identified data on families contacted for a study or multiple studies, their responses, and demographic breakdowns. The bottom left of the home view shows what filters are currently applied. To see visuals for a particular study, response type, or date range, navigate to the Consolidated tab, then use any of the filter drop-down menus to select how you'd like to filter your visuals. Then, navigate back to the Home tab to see updated dashboard cards based on the applied filters. The bottom right shows what time this data was last refreshed. The reports update every hour from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on weekdays. You'll also see a warning note that reads, "This report excludes all external responses." External responses refer to email addresses that were not on the participant contact list, and so could not be matched back to demographic data. For example, this can be a family who was forwarded the email, or a family who may have completed the opt-in/opt-out form using a different email than the one on file. Across the top are 4 metrics options: response, sex, race, and ethnicity. The Response tab opens by default, which shows overall response metrics broken down by response type. There are 4 blue boxes or dashboard cards with metrics showing opt-ins, which include families who opted in to learn more about the study, opt-outs, which include study-specific opt-outs, universal opt-outs, which include opt-outs from all recruitment emails, and response counts broken down by number of participants contacted and total emails sent. Note: since families can be contacted up to 3 times for a particular study, there may be more emails sent than families contacted. Response metrics can be broken down by sex, race, and ethnicity by selecting the different tabs along the top of the dashboard. For these demographic breakdowns, click on the curved arrow in the upper right-hand corner of each dashboard card to switch the visual from a table to a graph. This table reflects the data from the Excel files that are uploaded into the system. It is important that the data being imported from Excel is labeled in a way that facilitates future data analysis. For example, not Hispanic and non-Hispanic in the ethnicity field would be sorted separately in the bot tables. Data export options can be found by hovering over each dashboard card, selecting the 3 dots at the top right, and then selecting Export Data.
Next, we will do a quick demo of the consolidated report detailed table view.
This video will demonstrate how to navigate the detailed data table view of the consolidated report. From the left navigation panel, under Rec Study Team Consolidated Report, select the Consolidated tab. This tab shows de-identified participant level data in a comprehensive table format. Filter options at the top of the screen include drop-downs for Study, where one or more studies that the user has access to can be selected, IRB number, ops status, and a slider to select a date range in which the participant was contacted. Be sure to check the date range selected to ensure the preferred date range is being used. CHOP has customized this scrollable table, which displays the following information: study name, IRB number, date participant was added to the system, patient age in years, sex, gender, race, ethnicity, dates emails were sent for each contact, response received, number of times contacted, and ops status. This table reflects the data from the Excel files that are uploaded into the system. It is important that the data being imported from Excel is labeled in a way that facilitates future data analysis. Export options can be viewed by hovering over the table, selecting the three dots at the top right, and selecting Export Data.
And lastly, we'll show one last demonstration, which is our study team opt-in report dashboard.
This video will demonstrate navigating the REC opt-in response report dashboard. The REC opt-in response report provides detailed information about participants who have opted in to learn more about the study. To access the report, from the left navigation panel, click REC opt-ins response report. This report will display as a single detailed data table. This view shows all opt-ins received for studies you have access to. Filter options at the top of the screen include study and IRB number drop-downs, along with a date slider for the date a response was received. CHOP customized this scrollable table to include a combination of data that was imported from Excel, along with all fields captured in the Microsoft opt-in/opt-out form linked in the recruitment email. This displays the following information: study name, IRB number, date participant was added to the system, patient MRN, first name, last name, date of birth, age in years, sex, gender, race, ethnicity, zip code, email address, the dates the participant was contacted, the response date and time, their ops status, any alternate email addresses or phone number if provided, and comments or questions the family submitted. You can export this data by hovering over the table, clicking the three dots at the top right, and selecting Export Data. It's important to note that along with this dashboard, we have configured the system to send automatic email notifications to designated study team email addresses that include an Excel file of cumulative opt-ins. This opt-in report will be sent to your email every morning that there are new opt-ins received in the last 24 hours. Both the dashboard opt-in report and emailed opt-in report will include external responses, unlike the consolidated report.
Excellent. So additional benefits, I just want to first pause to say that it's such a uniquely customizable system. It's really been useful in that we've been able to customize notices that go out of the system. So in addition to being able to see things within the Microsoft Power BI, we're also able to see things that are sent to email addresses. All of the custom data fields where we were able to use to meet specific institutional needs. So it's really customizable for a lot of uses. This allows us the ability to send emails that have greatly reduced our staff time. So we're able to send emails in multiple languages languages. At CHOP, we're currently recruiting in English and Spanish, but we hope to continue to increase language diversity of recruitment. This automation process alone has generated approximately $80,000 in annual financial stewardship savings by allowing expansion of rec team services without additional FTE support. So as our volume grows, as we take on new studies, it doesn't require us to expand our staffing like it would have if we were doing this all with a manual workflow. Training new staff is also easier. As you see, the system is very user-friendly. It's clear what to upload and where. And so we find that the new staff that have come on board have just taken onto the system a lot more quickly than they did with the old email manual process. It is also able to generate comprehensive recruitment metrics that were not previously feasible because the manual workload was too great. So now we have at-a-glance dashboard views of how recruitment is going, who's contacted, what are the demographic breakdowns of people who are opting in, opting out, universally opting out. How does that vary by type of study? Study teams can see in real time exactly how many emails were sent out. So our staff is happier, spending significantly less time on emails and more time engaging with study partners and creating recruitment content. Again, we've been able to see so many benefits already, and we have just recently, within the past year, launched all these amazing tools. So we're looking forward to continuing to grow and work with this system and to enhance the system features even more. So some key takeaways and benefits were that the automation saves time and enhances user experience for families, for researchers, as well as for our back office staff. Epic data and input data may vary. So again, you want to ensure that data is clean. Sometimes data coming out of Epic may not always be in alignment on all the fields. So you may want to take a look through that to ensure that you're uploading data into the system that will allow the bot to maximize the type of data results that it's producing. The customizable tools allow sites to choose the data points that are significant to them. So you've seen a demonstration of what CHOP has done, but it's really highly customizable to whatever will work for your individual site. This adds efficiency, reduces risk of manual errors, increases employee engagement, and allows additional data capture and integration compared to manual systems. So it provides a seamless engagement for families, a user-friendly dashboard for staff, and a comprehensive customizable dashboard for researchers. So being able to use the Microsoft Power Platform took recruitment outreach to the next level. I'm now going to stop sharing to take time for questions.
All right, so I think, Heather, we've got a question here from Sarah. Are there any families who have been contacted before implementation of the bot and after? And have you received feedback from those families?
Yeah, so we do contact some families from multiple studies. So there absolutely are families that have been contacted before and after. But with this transition, it really was seamless for both families and researchers. So that means that we at no point had to pause email blasts. So the families' emails would look slightly different, having this little button. We have not received any direct communication from families regarding that button, but what we helped to ensure was that that process felt the same for families. So it felt the same for our end users. Email blasts were never paused. And what we have received is a lot of positive feedback from study teams who are now able to visualize and use the dashboard. And we're also able to better track engagement and research from families, which we hope to be able to analyze that data as we have more recruitment email blasts. We also have received feedback from our research staff and our recruitment staff, several of whom are on this call, Emily, Julia, Di, or Helia, who have really loved working in the system. So I think that the system has made the user experience for staff better because we spend less time now just doing the same thing, sending emails, and more time on that creative thinking, problem solving, helping to develop customized recruitment plans, which is a much better value add for our time than just sending out a million emails a year. Any additional questions?
Any other future phases or features planned for this?
Well, we are currently keep track of an enhancement list. So we would love to grow in the languages. We also have several key ideas for enhancements. So if we go forward with those at some stage, Scott, we will circle back to you to possibly showcase those. But we, again, are under a year into implementation. We implemented phase 1 last July, and we implemented this phase 2 with a dashboard earlier this calendar year. So we're really just kind of getting used to the system and understanding all of its capabilities capabilities, which again far exceed what we were able to do in a manual system. So I think we've really just kind of dipped our toe in the water with what we can do with these tools. It's adding efficiency, but also allowing us to expand our thinking and think more creatively on the type of data that we can gather for research studies. Any additional questions? Well, I would also like to put out there that I don't think this challenge is unique to CHOP. I think there's lots of other hospitals out there or programs that recruit subjects for various things. So I would be, open to engaging. If anybody else has questions and wants to reach out, I would be happy to answer questions on a smaller scale instead of on a presentation. So feel free to reach out to us, and we are grateful for the tools. We're grateful for Latitude's help, and we're really excited about this new Microsoft Power Platform dashboard.
We love to hear it. All right. Well, first of all, thank you all so much for your time today. A special thank you to our presenters. That was really fun. I love to see the use cases coming to life, and thank you to Arvaz and Latitude for getting us connected. We'll be back next month. We will be back on the fourth Thursday again. We have, as Randall mentioned, one of our global black belts, kind of the most fun title at Microsoft, as some would say, talking about reimagining the automation spectrum with agentic AI. So that's really going to focus on what I think makes some of Microsoft's tactics in the agent ecosystem a little bit unique. The combination of not just AI, but also automation married to AI, using kind of what's old and what's new to create more advanced solutions. We hope you'll come find us on LinkedIn, find the group, find us individually, find us on YouTube, and that aka.ms link will kind of maintain and hold our registration link at all times. So if you ever want to register for the upcoming session to get it on your calendar, we encourage you to use that link to find us, to get registered, and you'll get the reminders and everything. Thank you again to CHOP for all your help with this and such a wonderful presentation. And I hope everybody has a great rest of their weekend and the weekend.